Hello guys, welcome back to SPG News, the show where we bring you the latest releases and gossip in the guitar world. In today's episode, we're going to be checking out the new Jimmy Page SJ200, Fender's latest release with the new Buck Owens Telecaster and acoustic models. Finally, we're going to be taking a look at the Fender Ultra 2 range. So strap yourselves in and let's get into the news. Hello guys, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury drum machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley, and today we're going to be doing another episode of SPG News. We debuted this series last week and you guys seem to really enjoy it, so I thought I'd do another episode today. There's always new releases and gossip in the guitar world, and today we've got 3 incredible stories to tell you. So the first goes to Gibson Custom, and whenever we get a Gibson Custom signature release, there's always controversy around the price and the artist that has released it. Today's story is all about Jimmy Page's new SJ200 release, which is basically a recreation of his original SJ200 that got stolen early in his career, but he basically used it on the first Led Zeppelin album and wrote a lot of his famous songs using it. Over the last couple of years, Gibson have been releasing a lot of Jimmy Page models. We've just had the double neck, the EDS 1275, which is obviously the double neck that he used on Stairway to Heaven. Obviously, they tend to do 2 types of divisions of the signature model. You kind of get like the standard VOS, and then you get the kind of aged and signed, which is a lot more expensive. The first is a standard $13,000 version, which according to Gibson's website has already sold out. The second is the Jimmy Page 1964 SJ200 Collector's Edition, in which only 50 are made. This has an even higher price tag of $19,999 US. The Collector's Edition SJ200 by comparison offers some additional perks, namely the fact that it's been played and signed by Jimmy Page himself. This SJ200 is based on the Super Jumbo acoustic that Page played whilst Led Zeppelin tracked their debut album. It was used to record cuts such as Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, Your Time Is Gonna Come, and Black Mountain Side. Usually when you get these types of releases, the original guitar would be in Gibson's possession and then they would recreate it by using scans like they do on their 58 and 59 reissues. So it's obviously not the most scientific way to recreate a guitar, but according to Page, it was a successful project and he's very happy with the guitar. He said this following quote: "As I took it out, I thought, oh my goodness gracious, it's so beautiful. It was so authentic and yet so new at the same time." So it's obviously apparent that Jimmy Page is very happy with this guitar. As for the specs, both Cherry T versions feature highly flamed AAA maple back and sides and a 3A Sicker spruce top, as well as a 3-piece maple neck with rosewood fretboard. The neck shape, which has been sculpted based on Page's memory of the model, has been named the rounded profile, so I assume it's just kind of a recreation of a 64 profile. The most intriguing spec though is of course the Tune-o-matic bridge, which sits on the 1960s rosewood moustache bridge plate. This is a very quirky spec that Gibson only tried for a few years at the start of the 60s, and that feature alone obviously makes this guitar more rare. Other appointments include Tusk bridge pins, gold hardware finish, Kluson waffle back tuners with keystone button tuners, the Murphy Labs custom light age treatment, and mother of pearl graduated crown inlays. Of course, this guitar looks very royal, very custom, but how different is it to just a regular SJ200? Of course, you got that kind of weird spec with the Tune-o-matic bridge. You have the kind of more kind of custom elements like the waffle back tuners and obviously the crown inlays. A standard line SJ200 is going to probably cost you about $5,000. So we're talking quite the increase for just a recreation of a model. So obviously when you look at the difference in price from $5,000 to 13 or even 20 for the the collector's edition, these guitars aren't made to be played. They're made to be collector pieces. Rich guys are going to buy this up and then sit on them for years and years and then probably sell them, or maybe even sell them immediately. They're never going to go into the hands of a player, and that's a bit of a sad reality, but obviously at this price point a player is never going to be able to afford that type of guitar unless they're Jimmy Page. In the advertisement video he talks about how young people are going to carry on the torch of rock and roll and adapt rock and roll for the next generation. I think it's a little bit rich because obviously no teenager is actually going to be able to afford this guitar, and therefore I think by trying to market this to like a younger audience, it's a little bit futile. Obviously we all know that the people that are going to buy these are going to be very rich people and probably don't even play guitar that often. So it's a little bit of a weird one. I think the release is really cool, but it's way too overpriced in my opinion. But this is just like all guitar releases. When they released the Brazilian Dream Les Paul, the Slash one, which was at 10 grand, a lot of people had outrage at that. It just shows that Gibson are obviously going up and up and up with their pricing, and we never really know where the cap is going to be. But that was guitar story number 1. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of the Led Zeppelin Jimmy Page SJ200? Do you love it or do you hate it? Do you think it's overpriced or do you think it's worth it? Let me know in the comment section below. But moving on, let's see what Fender have been up to. So Fender's new release is of the Buck Owens signature guitar, and it's basically made to honor the late country great and revive some of his oldest custom guitar designs. Buck Owens was known for kind of sporting a guitar that had the American flag and glitter on it, and he's had a few signature models over the years. Fender has unveiled an electric guitar, a Telecaster, and based on an acoustic guitar. So the first guitar being a Telecaster sports that kind of iconic Buck Owens finish, which is obviously modeled after the United States flag. You've got that blue, red and white stripe sparkle finish. There's been a couple of runs of these in the years. In the late 90s there was a limited edition run, and there was also one in 2002. So these guitars have been made previously, they're just reissuing them now. Under the bling, it's a regular Tele at heart, boasting a bound older body, a late 1950s C-shaped maple neck and a vintage 7.25 inch radius maple fretboard. We have a pair of Buck Owens single coils, which are tasked with delivering the classic Bakersfield sound. Finishing touches include a matching 3-color sparkle finish on the headstock, we've got gold hardware, and a free saddle string-through body bridge, as well as a gold mirror pickguard. Personally, I'm not a big fan of how these guitars look, but I do think it's quite cool that they're recreating a guitar of a country legend. Personally, I wouldn't put gold hardware on this one, but I know this guitar is supposed to be obnoxious and in your face, so I understand why they've done it. I really like the idea that they've brought the kind of C-shaped 50s profile. It's probably one of my favorite Telecaster profiles, and that they've kept the vintage radius. I'd really like to try one of these out because I've never played the Buck Owens single coils, so I'd like to see how they sound. Moving on to the acoustic, it's basically a Kingman acoustic, which looks to recreate the vibe of the red, white, blue Harmony H169, which becomes synonymous with Owens' image and sound. That particular Harmony was made towards the end of 1960s and featured on all of Owens' stuff. It was especially influential in shaping the Bakersfield sound and was used during various television appearances. So talking about the specs of the acoustic, it has the Performance X bracing and has the Fishman VT Plus electronics. It has a standard specs including a 25.5 inch scale length, a C profile neck and a tilt back 6-in-line headstock, as well as a block inlaid bound rosewood fingerboard. The Buck Owens Telecaster is costing $1,999 US, and then we have the acoustic for $699 US. I believe these guitars are made in Mexico, so I do think that's quite a high price tag. You think about a kind of standard Mexican Strat or Telecaster, you'd be talking about, within the hundreds mark. So again, we're seeing that signature guitar tax because it's got a unique finish, probably got higher spec pickups, but we're seeing a lot more of a price increase. I think for these guitars, it's a little bit more accepting, because obviously we're not talking a massive price, we're still talking fairly affordable within the guitar world. So it's not like Gibson's release. I do think the acoustic is priced really well, and I think that's a nice release for Fender. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this new Buck Owens release? Do you love these guitars or do you hate them? Let me know in the comment section below. So now let's move on to our final story for today. So for this final story, I'm actually going to be going through the Fender website with you. So we're going to go through it, look at some of the models that they're releasing. But basically the American Ultra 2 has been released, and this is kind of, Fender's innovating line where they use new specs and stuff like that. Obviously, it's quite a high-end American build Fender Stratocaster. So let's go on the Fender website and see what we've got. So starting off, this first American Ultra 2 Stratocaster, it's got this glaring kind of yellow finish called Solar Flare. I really like the look of this model, so let's have a look at what specs we're talking about here. So we've got an older body, kind of got the urethane finish, Stratocaster body, pretty standard stuff. Quarter sawn maple neck. Got a modern D profile with a 25.5 inch scale length. These have the compound radius of 10 to 14 inches, 22 frets, medium jumbo fret size. So they're definitely going for more of a modern feeling guitar, especially with that compound radius and the more D pronounced shape. In terms of electronics, we've obviously got the noiseless pickups that come in the Ultras. These sound really good, and it's a really good innovation from Fender, obviously creating that single coil sound but without the hum. So we've got 3 noiseless pickups in this with a 5-way position blade. So yeah, it's basically a modern Strat. But I guess the question is how different is this from just a standard Fender Ultra? I mean, obviously cosmetically, we've got a lot different finishes, but I'm a big fan of this finish. Obviously, you've got all sorts of finishes. You have Ultra Burst with the gold pickguard. You've got Noble Blue, Texas T. I really like Texas T, it's a good finish. Solar Flare, as we just mentioned. Avalanche, again, that looks really cool with the kind of brushed chrome pickguard. And then we have Sinister Red. So that's the Stratocaster in the series. Let's have a look at more of a innovating design. Let's have a look at the Meteora, because I think this shape is really cool. Kind of like an offset guitar, kind of got roots in like the Jazzmaster and the Jaguar, but it's kind of been pushed into the 21st century a little bit more. So we've got 3 finish options on this one. We have the Ultra Burst with the gold pickguard. We've got Texas T, which I think is the best one in my opinion, and then we have Avalanche. So let's keep the Texas T finish on. I do think it's cool how you can order all these guitars with rosewood fretboards or maple fretboards. I think that's really cool. This is what Fender have to say about it. Built for players boldly seeking the best, American Ultra 2 is our most advanced series of instruments yet. American Ultra 2 guitars and basses feature premium materials, precision, craftsmanship, and cutting-edge design. The Fender American Ultra 2 Meteora features a select older body with sculpted body contours. For effortless playability, the quarter-sawn maple neck features our modern D profile and smooth ultra satin finish. Again, this guitar has the compound radius of 10 inches to 14 inches and has the ultra rolled edges. So I like how they've kind of made this standard on it, that all the fretboards have rounded edges. It's going to feel a little bit more like a custom shop guitar and a little bit more lived in. Got medium jumbo frets, loom inlay side dots, which is a really cool feature. I've not seen them on a Fender guitar before. And a Graphtec tusk nut. Under the hood, a pair of Haymaker humbuckers deliver everything from sweet cleans to modern crunch and searing leads. The S1 switch cleverly splits the Haymakers for even more tonal variety, and you can further sculpt your tone with both conventional master tone control plus a carefully voiced bass cut knob. I think the Meteora is a really cool guitar. I'm gonna just go for it now. Obviously these are made in Corona, California. I think the loom inlays are a really good kind of idea, especially this is like a very stage looking guitar. If you're playing this on the stage, it's very easy to play. This has an ebony fingerboard, which again I think is really cool. I think that's probably my favorite release from Fender from this video, if I'm being honest. I think it's a really cool looking guitar. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of the Fender Ultra 2 series? Do you think it's worth the new series? Do you think they look cool, or do you not like them? Let me know in the comment section below. But guys, that brings us to the end of another episode of SPG News. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and make sure to leave a like if you have. Also, consider subscribing to see more content on this channel. Just hit that little button down below and hit the bell icon to be notified when we make a new video. But thank you so much for watching today's episode, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Squealing Pig Guitars. But until then, keep rocking guys, I'll see you soon.